Okay, girls. This is the lesson 1, chapter 5, I think. Yes. What chapter is this? Let's look. Yes. So, chapter 5, expressions. Lesson 1 is called algebraic expressions. Okay. So, in this lesson, you need to know vocabulary. You need to write this vocabulary. A variable is a symbol that represents an unknown quantity. Okay? So what do I mean by an unknown quantity? I don't know. So if my question says one box has 3 pencils, how many pencils are in 7 boxes? So how will I write this? So I will know that one box has 3 pencils, so 7 because of the 7 boxes. Or I can use 7B, B to stand for the boxes. Okay? So the variable here is P or B. It doesn't matter. I can write 7N. So this is how you write it. 7N or 7P or 7B or 7A. You can choose whatever letter you want to use there. So these letters are what we are calling variable. Okay? It will keep on changing because this number will keep changing. Do we understand? So for me to answer this question, how many pencils? So I will say in my variable is, so N stands for the number of pencil. I have to define. So I have to say N is the number of pencils in a box. Okay? Since N is the number of pencils in the box, for me to find how many pencils are in 7 boxes, I have to multiply 7 and N. Okay? So this becomes 7 bracket N. And I know in one box there is 3 pencils. So 7, 3. This means 7 times 3, which is 21 pencils. So, and this is my answer to this question. So first, you'll be given a word problem. You will choose a variable. You need to define the variable and you need to solve. So here, you know you're multiplying because 1, they've used brackets and there is no sign between 7 and the variable. Then the variable can be written as adding 7 plus N. So this story will be different. 7 minus N. This story will be different. 7 divide N can be written as a fraction like this. Okay? Or N plus 7. These two mean the same. N minus 7 does not mean 7 minus N. Totally different. 7 minus 3 is 4. 3 minus 7 is negative 4. So these two are different. Even here, 7 divide N is not the same as N divide 7. Okay? But they mean divide because you have written them as a fraction. So you need to know how to read what words mean add, what words mean minus, what words mean divide. Okay? So we have just defined what is a variable. Any letter that you are going to use or a symbol, okay? You can use square, triangle, whatever sign you want to draw. And then as long as it represents something you do not know, a quantity you don't know, okay? So we use variables to write an algebraic expression, like the ones I wrote. All these are algebraic expressions, okay? All of them, even exponents, this is an algebraic expression. This means n times n times n. You're repeating n 3 times. So an algebraic expression is an expression that contains variables and numbers and at least one operation. You need these 3 things for you to be an algebraic expression. So you need to write these 2 definitions in your book. Okay, so now we go here. Now look. So the branch of mathematics that involves expressions and variables is called algebra. So we are beginning to learn about algebra. Now, when an expression is written like this, it means 6 multiply a number, or 6 multiply d. Here you're multiplying 9 with a number with another number. These 2 numbers are not the same because your letters are not the same. So this is 9 times s times t. This is m times n, 2 different numbers. This is a times a times a. Do you see that? You write a 3 times and then you multiply them. You don't add. When you're using exponents, this is multiply. Okay? Now, we need to know what is a coefficient. The numerical factor, which means the number. The numerical factor means the number of a multiplication expression. You can only use coefficient when you're multiplying, not when you're adding, when you're multiplying. That contains a variable is called a coefficient. Are we clear? So here the coefficient is 6, first of all, because it is the number with the letter. Think about that. Coefficient is the number with the letter when you're multiplying, not when you're adding, subtracting, only when you're multiplying. Okay? So you're going to say why here is dividing and Miss you said multiply, because divide is like multiply. This number here is, there is 1 on top of 2. And then you're multiplying with y. So if I was to write this, I would write 1/2 multiply y over 1. And that is how I ended with y over 2. Okay? So divide and multiply both have coefficients. Your coefficient is a number. It can be a fraction, it can be a whole number, it can be a decimal. Okay? Alright. So we go here. See this example. You have 2, you have bracket n plus 3. Okay? So the question is 2n plus 3, close the bracket, and they've said n equals to -4. They are telling you to replace n with this number. Now, 2, -4 plus 3. Solve the bracket first. 2. -4 plus 3 is -1. 2 times -1 is -2, and this is your answer. Okay? What if the question was 2, 3 minus n? What will you do? 2, 3 minus, your n is -4, -4. Then this becomes, add, this is 2, and that is 7, because 3 plus 4 is 7. 2 times 7 is 14, and you box your answer. Put the equal signs for every step you do. Okay? And you remember to box your answer. Now let us look at this one. Okay? Example like that. So you have 8w minus 2v. So you have 2 different numbers. You have a number for w and a number for v. W is 5, so you write 8 bracket 5 minus 2 bracket 3. V is 3. 8 times 5 is 40 minus 2 times 3 is 6. 40 minus 30, 40 minus 6 is 34, and you, okay? You try and do this without the calculator. This is why you need to learn your multiplication facts. Just like that, okay? Let's try and do this the opposite way. Let's do 2v minus 8w. Same thing. 2 times 3. V is 3 minus 8 times 5. Then you have 6 minus 40, which will give you negative 34. Okay? So remember from term 1, we learned how to minus numbers. Yes? So you should know when you're going to get a negative number and when you're going to get a positive number. You should know without the calculator. So example 3, we have exponents. 4y cubed plus 2. Now if y is, let's use another number. Let's say y is, I'm trying to think. Let's say y is 5. I don't like that they used 3 over here. So 4, 5 to the third power plus 2. So this is 4 multiply 5, multiply 5, multiply 5, plus 2. You have to write it this way. Expand before you go to your next step, okay? Now, 4 times 5 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25 plus 2. 25 times 20 is 500. So your next step is 500 plus 2, which is 502. And you box your answer. Okay? Remember, when you're writing exponents, you write this number with this exponent, the number times that is here. Okay? So if this is 3, you will write 5 3 times. If this is 4, you will write 5 4 times. If this is 6, you will write 5 times 5 times 5, 6 times of this 5. Okay? All right. So let's do example 4. Here now you're required to read and explain. Athletic trainers use the formula 3 bracket 220 minus a divide by 5. Divide by 5. It is a fraction. You have to use the word divide. Where a is a person's age. To find the minimum training of the heart rate, find Haller's minimum heart rate. Find Haller's minimum training heart rate if she's 15 years old. So they are saying A is the person's age. How do you know somebody's age? The units. Years old told me this is age. So I'm going to put it over here. Okay? So 220 minus A over 5 is equal to 220 minus 15 over 5 equals to 220, that should be 600. No, this should be 5 because 15 needs 5 to be here. So this is 205. How do I know? Let me subtract. 220 minus 15. I borrow. 10 minus 5 is 5. 1 minus 1 is 0, 2. So there, and I have to divide by 5. I am following this pattern. Now, I have to multiply 205 3 times. So, times 3, 15, and then 6. How do I know? 5 times 3 is 15, carry 1. 0 times 3 is 3, then 1, then 2. Or 205, 205, 205, and I add 5, 10, 15. I carry 1, 15. 1 plus 0 is 1. 2 plus 2 plus 2 is 6. two different ways I can do the same thing. So I have 6/15 over 5. Now I need to divide, okay? Long division. I told you, you gotta practice this. You need to know how to do this without the calculator. 5 goes here, 1. 6 minus 5 is 1. Bring down the 1. 5 goes in 11 2 times. 10. Bring down the 5. 5 goes in 15. 3. 15. I minus. I get 0. So my answer is 123 without me using the calculator.